Peace to the gods, peace to the earths, and all of the righteous families of the planet. It's your big brother Fahiym back once again with another bill with the family. I'm gonna try to keep this brief. There's no way I'm gonna keep it brief, but I'm gonna have to chop this up into segments because this is a very important bill that I want to do, and I want to speak about. Dealing with the God Black God Ross sent me a video a couple days ago, and it was a video that really it freaked me out, really, you know what I'm saying? But it was the brother, the older God Melchisedek, Shabazz Allah, from the Nation of Islam and on the planet Earth and the universe, or whatever he says, something like that. He was sitting down being interviewed by the Allah School of Mecca channel. I think it's just the Allah School. Brother Mega, was interviewing him, the God Infinite, and real interesting. There was a lot of things said in that video that I think need to be thoroughly scrutinized, that the elder God, gave within his testimony. One of the things that I want to just, I got matter of fact, I got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got about 6 points actually. I'm not going to be able to get them all in, but just to kind of just on each one, I want to touch on real quick, dealing with with some of the things the elder said. The elder was questioned about certain history in the 5%ers in the nation of the 5% nation, and he gave his C, to the best of his ability. You know what I'm saying? The God was asked about the Muslim gods, and of course the God shot that down. Oh, that's Muslim God stuff is foolishness. It's a fantasy. It don't make no sense. And, the God went in, But I'm going to just touch on my few points, really, that I kind of got out of the video. But just some of the corrections, let's just deal with, because the brother Melchisedek was wrong in some of the stuff that he said, and I just want to deal with that. First of all, the first point I want to just make real quick is that a 5%er is, in fact, a Muslim God, according to the 120 lessons, according to Elijah Muhammad and the 120 lessons. We're Muslim gods, brothers. And I don't need to keep. It feels like I'm beating a dead horse. Like, I keep saying the same thing over and over. It's getting played out now, like we're Muslims and we're gods. Common sense. I mean, do the math, brothers. The original man is who? The Asiatic black man, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, the father of civilization, the God of the universe. The understanding degree tells you that the original man is a member of the original nation. And what is the total population of the original nation in the wilderness of North America and all over the planet Earth? The total population of the original nation in the wilderness of North America is 17 million, with the 2 million Indians making it a total of 19 million, 4,400 million all over the planet Earth. We go to the 1 to 36. All of these are connected. I've said this before. If you really just refer back to my old bill that I did almost a year ago, who are the Muslim gods? And in there, I pretty much break it down. So I'm just giving a just overall synopsis, basically, of what I said. In the English C lesson, in the 13th and 14th degrees, it tells us, what is his own self? His own self is a righteous Muslim. Plain. It doesn't need to get no clearer than that. You can science it up how you want to. You can change it around and say his own self is a righteous God. His own self is a righteous civilized person. His own self is but his own self is a righteous Muslim. Same thing that Brother Melchisedek had in his lessons when he held up his supreme wisdom, which I'll get to that. Supreme wisdom. In the 1 to 36, it tells us that the 17 million are Muslims. They're the original Muslims. The 17 million are the original Muslims. Am I right or wrong, brothers? Stop me you can stop me whenever I'm wrong. Just stop me whenever I'm wrong. I'm coming from what the degrees say. I don't know where you guys are coming from, but I'm coming from the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad's teachings and the understanding that he gave. The 17 million are the original Muslims. Am I right or wrong? Okay. It says some of the 17 million don't know that they're Muslims. And because that they don't know this, because they're blind to that reality, the scripture refers to them as dumb, deaf, and blind. What we say in the 5% nation as they're 85 percenters. So you're an 85 percenter if you don't know this. I'm giving you what the lessons say, brothers. That's all I'm doing. Let's just stick with the teachings. They don't know this because they're dumb, deaf, and blind. Some of the 17 million. Let's jump over to the 1 to 40. The 16th degree in the 1 to 40. What did the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad quote? What was his words in 1934? When the question was asked to him, who is the 5% on this poor part of the planet Earth? The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, they are the poor, righteous teachers who don't believe in the teachings of the 10%. They know who the true and living God is, and they teach that the true and living God is the Son of Man, the supreme being, black man of Asia. They teach freedom, justice, and equality to all human families of the planet Earth. Otherwise known as civilized people, also Muslims and Muslim sons. Did I quote it right? Because I know I got a lot of hecklers out there that, you know your lessons, Daysun Allah, you know his lessons, Daysun Allah got his 120 on cap, he got to keep reading it. Did I do it good that time, brothers? My hecklers out there who like to critique everything I say and do, did I quote it right? Tell me if I'm wrong. Point of the matter is, our lessons has Muslim all up and through it. It is called Lost Found Muslim Lessons, Brother Melchisedek. That's what it's called. Open your book. Open your Supreme Wisdom book that you held up. That's what it says. What are they called? They're called Lost Found Muslim Lessons. So, because they're called Lost Found Muslim Lessons, they're for the lost found Muslims. That's what they're for. Let's just be honest. We're the lost found Muslims here in the wilderness of North America. That's us. Me, you, M.G.C. He's a Muslim too. He just don't know it. All them brothers down there at the Allah School, they're all Muslims. They just don't know it. Why they don't know it? Because they're dumb, deaf, and blind. The lessons say that. It's not me. It ain't me. It's the lessons. It calls you dumb, deaf, and blind. I hate to keep going over this. M.G.C, why didn't you ask him, why is the word Muslim even in there to begin with? Why didn't you ask him that? It's like I almost felt like when I was watching that video, it's almost like I'm on trial and I got a legal aid sitting over here, a court-appointed lawyer who's not speaking up, saying nothing. He's not arguing nothing that they're bringing. The prosecution is saying he's not arguing nothing. He's just sitting there mumbling. Like, speak, say something. Like, challenge what he's saying. That's what it felt like. If M.G.C, you could have, I ain't gonna say bomb the old school, the OG, because at the end of the day, it's all about teaching. It's not really so much bomb. But you could have asked him questions that were important questions that would have showed that he really didn't understand what the hell he was talking about. Because you have all of this Nation of Islam paraphernalia on. You're sitting there with the national on your finger, the Nation of Islam flag. You know, are you a Muslim or are you a God, OG Melchisedek? Which one is it? Because now, according to you, they're different. You know, y'all want to keep using the word God, this Roman Greco word, God. I call myself God too. I'm Daysun the God, but I mean, I just say God because people over here in the wilderness of North America is used to hearing that. So I just use that word. But really, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad gave us the name Muslim, or told us we were Muslims. That's his word for God. Because you could go around and just be like, no, I don't want to say I'm this God, I'm a Muslim God, I'm that God, I'm just God. Well, the white man is just God. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said he's a God too. So if he's a God and you're just a God, what kind of God are you? The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said the righteous black melanated God is a Muslim. You sat up there with, in the last segment of bills that you did, Brother Melchisedek, you were on the Allah School of Mecca's channel, and you and the other elder god, Fahiym, I can't remember the god's name. I think that was his name, Fahiym, if I'm not mistaken. Pardon self if I got the god's name wrong. But you sat up there and built beautifully with the God. You talked about how the white man is not a Muslim by nature. He can only be that by faith. So that was the reason why I told, the brother M.G.C, I told him, yo, ask the God Melchisedek about, all these things you asking me. All these things you want to know from the Muslim gods. He's a good brother to ask. Perfect brother. Because he rocks both flags. He's in the Nation of Islam and professes 5%. Ask him. And he's an elder. Ask him. But when the God, began building and giving you a C, I'm just sitting there like, wow. It was like borderline 85%. When I first heard Melchisedek's talking, I was like, yo, the God is an 85%er. Wow. And he's had the lessons probably longer than I've been born. I'm in my mid-40s. The God is in his mid-80s. But you've been teaching falsehood for over 40 some odd years, brother. That's not good. Giving the lessons out in the improper manner. It's not good. Who does that? Okay, we may not can agree on Muslim God, but one thing we can agree on, I don't care what sect of 5% of you are, whether it's Nation of Gods and Earths, whether it's Allah's 5%, whether it's the Muslim gods, 5% Nation of Islam. I don't care who you are. I don't care if it's the wisdom body. I don't care who you are. One thing we could all agree on is this. Degrees are given out in stages. Degrees are given out in degrees. You get a lesson, you learn that lesson, and you quote it back to your enlightener. And not only your quoting ability has to be sharp, but you're reading the messenger's books, because I want to hear you break down that degree. By reading the messenger's books, it allows you to build on that degree and go into the science of that degree. Melchisedek said when he had his store, the majority of his patrons that would come in and buy books were 5%ers. And he said the primary books that they would buy was the messenger's books. Message to the Black Man, Our Savior Has Arrived, Fall of America, How to Eat to Live, Book 1 and 2. All through the 70s, all through the 80s. Brothers was reading that. That's important in our history. That's why I said Melchisedek, it's almost, I'm not going to call him an 85%, I recant that statement. However, I will call him a little G. Melchizedek is a little G. You showed and proved yourself to be a little G, brother, because there's so many things in the lessons that you don't know. I've heard you personally try to break down, and it was now cipher. Emphatically now cipher. Certain things. Some things I held my tongue. Some things I corrected you on, brother. When I first met Melchizedek back in 99, 2000, it was the consensus in the hood was like, among the nation of gods and earths, they was like, oh, yo, that brother right there, yeah, because he be flip-flopping, he want to be Nation of Islam, he want to be 5%er, he be wearing the FOI stuff, he be wearing the Nation of Islam flag, then he be having our flag, and then, but, he be knowing the history, though, he be, but, the father, and stuff like that, but, yeah. And then the Muslim gods used to be like, yo, brother Melchizedek, yeah, definitely, he's a Muslim god. They were calling you a Muslim god, and you ain't even know it. When I first met you, I believe it was on what was it? It was in Medina. It was in Brooklyn. Brother Jabril Muhammad, shout out to the soul FOI, brother Jabril Muhammad, the Respect for Life bookstore on Nostrand and Atlantic over there. I believe was it Herkimer, Nostrand. It's over there in that area. And I first met Melchizedek, and that was like in the hood, it was like mixed emotions about him. The 5%ers in the nation of gods and earth felt one way about him, and the 5%ers in the nation of Islam felt another way about him. But in the nation of Islam, he was always revered as a scholar. Like, yo, brother Melchizedek, he's one of the elder gods, he know the history, da-da-da-da-da. Good brother, if you need to ask anything about the history. And believe it or not, I still tell people that today about you, brother. That's a good brother to ask about the history, because one thing I know about you is that you are a good brother to ask about the history, because you're going to give them the authenticity, the authentic history. You're going to give them the original lessons, the original degrees that the father and Brother Clarence 13X, Brother Eugene, Brother John, Brother James, you're going to give them what Walik, what Raja, you're going to give them what all of the firstborn, or the elders rather, left the mosque with and gave to the firstborn. Gods like Bilal, gods like Akbar, gods like firstborn prince, gods like Black Messiah, ABG7, you giving them all of the authentic stuff, but you don't have no understanding of that stuff. It's almost as a child who grows up in a household and he sees his parents do stuff and he doesn't really have any understanding of it yet, but he's just like, that's how brother Melchizedek is. So he's a little G in that sense, because the understanding is not there, brother. We're Muslims, brother. Always have been, always will be. I'm going to continue this bill. I'm going to come back and jump back on it, but I have so many different points that I want to talk about. The next point I want to just talk about is Wakil isn't the father of the Muslim gods. He's one of our great scholars, but he's not the father of the Muslim gods, brother. The father of the Muslim gods is Allah God himself. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said the creator was a Muslim, and all of his people after him are Muslims. This is from the messenger, brother. He spoke about Muslim gods in Our Savior Has Arrived, in the Theology of Time. And they weren't troublemakers either. Mega, where did you get that from? Nowhere the messenger says that the scientists, the elders, the 23 scientists, any of them were troublemakers. Likewise, nowhere can you find where he said Yaqub was a devil. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I think in Message to the Black Man, I believe it's page 185, if I'm not mistaken. 165, 185, I think it's 185, where the messenger says Yaqub was not a devil. He was not no troublemaker. Stop teaching that, brother. That's mixing truth with falsehood. How do you make devil? You begin by grafting from the original. So I want to come back and build some more on this. I know Black God Ra wants to jump on it. He already told me. yo, God, I got to get I got to get in on that bill, God, make sure, you know. So I'm probably going to return back with him, but, you know, we definitely going to build some more on this, man, you know, but brothers got to get it together, man. Get it together, man. Get it together, brothers. Come on, come on, you know, come on. Nobody gives out lessons like that, OG Mel. Nobody. You lost all credibility by doing that. You know, everything you say now needs to be scrutinized. Everything your students say, anything that came from you has to be questioned now. Because we know you probably didn't get it the right way, and that's why you didn't give it out the right way to the students, to the babies. So I will return. With that being said, family, I leave you as I came in the greeting words of peace.